So today, he's working on taking the engine out of this truck because we sold it. It's a parts truck. He bought it a long time ago, and it's just been sitting. Yeah, bad transmission. But everything else was good, and it did have a nice leather interior, which we took out to put in a truck that I had a long time ago for a short while, and decided that it wasn't going to work for me. But yeah, so we used the interior, and he decided to go ahead and part it out just so it's not
just
sitting.
So we can start cleaning up some properties and getting rid of some stuff, because this truck's been laying around now for
at least 7 years, I think.
a long time.
Yeah.
And it still runs good. I got it running for the guy so he could hear it run before we sold the motor out of it. But I'm just going to take the motor out. I'm not going to take the cab off and all that stuff, because I just don't see anybody going to buy this kind of stuff. Not for F150s. If it was a F250 or 350, yeah, I'd sell the cab for sure. But nobody wants to put this much work into an F150. But the frame is beautiful on this truck, so maybe somebody will want the frame. I doubt it, because nobody wants to do that kind of work. It's too much work, I guess. But this is how scrap batteries come around sometimes. This one's no good, so we'll start our new pile. We just took in 42 of them, so we're going to start with all the wiring. I'm basically unplugging this, leaving the harness that goes with the motor on the motor. So I have to, like I always do, I start by draining fluids. I'll drain the coolant next, and then I'll start on this side and work my way around to get everything disconnected. Take the transmission lines off. They use a special tool down here. There's like a ring in here that's out like this, so when you push this in over it, they catch it like this. So you have to have a way to spread them to pull it out. So use one of these, two different sizes, and it'll get in there and it will spread the fingers to go over top of this instead of being held by it. So then you can pull it out. I sprayed these with WD-40 before we started, because they can be a little bit of pickle. Now I'm going to grab a piece of ATF and go from this one, or ATF, transmission line, and go from this one to hold the fluid together. Alright, so I'll take this, bring this one in this one into here, and that'll take care of that mess. And then we just have what's going to drip out the radiator into a drain pan. Once I get the radiator unhooked, I just pull it out so it doesn't get damaged. Not that I really think we need it. I have the drain pan under there too, so catch all that. And I'll set it out here over a drain pan so it can leak out. Close that. I don't want it draining from one place. So then I'll turn upside down on there and I'll plug the two transmission lines. Since we're taking this apart, I always take the AC condensers out too. Gives us a little bit more room. This is no good. It's going to scrap. There's nothing in the AC. So I just go ahead and separate the aluminum. Again, every time I take one of these apart, I take anything apart, I scavenge all these plastic clips, like these Phillips screw ones here, or the push pins down here, any ones I can, because we always end up needing them.
I just wanted to say, if you hear a tapping noise, someone close to us is getting a new roof and it's echoing over here. So for those that are noise sensitive, that's what it is. He likes to lift the back of the truck up some, so it's easier for him to reach the stuff in the front. And then, we always put wood under there just to be safe, and chalk the front wheels.
So we've kind of changed a little bit. We're just going to go ahead and lift this cab off. This cab's no good, and The frame's nice. I can't believe how good a shape the frame's in. Most of these are rotted away, but since we have the interior out already, it makes it really easy to get to the bolts. Body mounts. One up here, one here, and there's one up on there, which these actually go down through, and there's two little nuts on the body mount that you can take them loose instead, the 13s. So we have to take the steering column loose, which I'm working on now, the shifter, the parking brake, body mounts, and the core support mount, and that's just about it. A couple grounds underneath I'll have to find, but I think we'll just lift it off. Just make it simpler, because I forgot about how much I hate doing the bell housing bolts on these without a rack. If I had a rack to put 2-post lift, put this on, I wouldn't pull the cab. But since I can pull the cab, it makes it easier. The lever for the shifter for the transfer case goes into an aluminum bracket, and I don't want to fool with that right now. With no room, it needs to be soaked because I think it's just going to break. So I just took this all loose and shoved it down in there. So when we lift this, we'll just have to be careful. We can come up a little bit, and then we'll have to move that shifter a little bit to get around it so we don't destroy it. I'm almost ready, but there's something that I almost overlooked. When I did my checks, I found it was this bracket for the hood release bolts to the bumper. Okay, so this is on here. So you either got to take this cable off, or you got to take that bolt loose, and then the latch has to come loose because the latch needs to stay with the body. This part of the bumper, this top cover, goes with the body, but it's secured to the bumper here in 3 bolts. So those got to come out, and then it's secured over here with some plastic to the body. And I think that's all it's going to take. Hopefully I don't miss anything, but I guess we'll see when we go to lift it. I'm just going to go ahead and take that bracket loose there, take this loose here, lay it over top the core support, and then I'll take these 3 8mm loose. I like to go around and kind of pull on stuff just to make sure that, you know, it's not hooked anywhere else, just to be safe. I don't want any surprises.
Seems like, huh? What's the matter? Stuck on the 4-wheel drive control. Up.
Stuck on this mount right here.
Oh, well look, because you're almost cleared of that. Okay. Okay. I think everything looks okay. How about that one? Nope, that's loose too. Okay. I think it's good.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Spot on the mount over there on the other side.
Oh.
That's okay. We're ready.
Okay.
Watch me, I'm gonna come forward some, so you're gonna have to watch engine and firewall.
Okay. loosening the straps, and we forgot about the four-wheel drive shifter, or whatever you call it. It was getting caught up on that a little bit.
Been a long time since we took an F-150 cab off. I think I've only done one. So I guess we got really lucky. We didn't forget anything. We were just fighting this shifter coming up through that hole. You can see how this goes into aluminum bracket. I was afraid of trying to take that loose and breaking that bracket. So I thought this was the lesser of the evils, taking it off this way. Ford uses Loctite on these bolts. So instead of fighting them, we just heat this flange up a little bit, and it, loosens up that Loctite, and then you can usually pop it loose. Otherwise, you can strip out a 12-point socket or round the head up. All it takes is a little bit of heat. Transfer case is ready to come out now. All the bolts are out, so we'll have to get in there and lift it out now.
Oh, goody.
Hopefully that tail shaft, I cut the drive shaft to keep it in there. Hopefully it stays in there. Yay. Okay, we're on the transmission. You see what I mean? I just cut the tail shaft, the drive shaft, just to keep it from making a big mess. Because we don't care about that drive shaft. We're going to cut it and use it for steel tubing. Alright, now we'll get on the transmission lines. Before I do that, I got to get there's an inspection cover down there I got to take off. There's a couple bolts. I'm going to get them, and then we'll take the dipstick out, take these lines loose, but not until I'm done under there, because I don't want to make a big mess I got to lay in. So the engine's out. I got it rigged with chains to grade all. And we're just going to lift it up and back. I'm not worried about that torque converter. I'll get it after we get the motor out. Okay, now it's off. Okay. A little more. Oh, right there. Front's got it and the back don't. It's gonna make a mess. Anyways, all I gotta do is just pop the torque converter out of there. We'll let the motor back down, let it pour out the torque converter now, but we'll get this out of the way. So I did it this way because this transmission is no good. The reversed, either the drum that it's in or the band or something breaks in these and you have no reverse, so I didn't really care about that transmission at all. Sometimes I'll just put, if I know it's scrap, I'll just put it right in the bed if I'm scrapping the bed. But in this case, I want to tear that apart because I want to look inside that transmission and I want to see exactly what it's like. I've never never worked on the inside of a transmission other than like shift solenoid and stuff like that in the bottom. Never took the whole thing apart. Thought it might be interesting. Alright, so we're ready to lift the engine out, I think. I got it chained up. I think it's adequate. Hang on. Only thing left is a power steering. I've got everything else loose. I just needed some room to get to the power steering because it's so crammed in here. It's just easier to lift it up a little bit and then try and work on it. Okay, now I can disconnect it. I can get to it easy enough.
Okay. Are you bringing it inside? I don't know where he's going with it. Were you going to bring it inside?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just need to get the nuts off this manifold.
Oh, I was going to say because I need to move the torches.
Show what I did on the other side to make it easier to get to the starter. Since I had 2 exhaust bolts broken.
Well, I can get over here. He just took the Sawzall and cut it, which didn't take too long and sure did help.
Sure made it easier to get to that starter because it was buried between the frame and that. So, like there's a couple studs to get out. That'll be fun. Whatever. Okay, I'll get the exhaust loose on the other side. Just gonna take this off real quick, and then we'll set this out somewhere and call them and come get it.
Well, we'll just get it set up and I'll cover it. It's not supposed to rain, but just in case. And we'll call him to come and get it.
This is a reason that I sold this thing is not knowing the miles correct, because you see the production date 5/5/07 and our truck's in 05, so you know, if that date is done the way we think it is, and this is an 07 motor, so it's newer than the truck itself. So anyways, that's just how we do it. It just makes better sense. You just be honest with everybody up front, and then there's no false expectations or anything. All right, so I called the guy that's bought the motor. He's on his way. He should be here any minute. But this is about as far as I'm going to go with this one. You know, normally we would take the bed off and take this off and take that off and then reduce it down and get rid of everything that we don't want. But in this case, I have yet one more F150 of this vintage, and it's been sitting for a couple years now, and I don't know what I may or may not need for parts, so I'm gonna hang on to what's left of this, because this has better rear end and front end ratio than ours does, than the one I have. It's got some replacement parts. This one has not been replaced, that upper control arm, but the other side has, which is funny because that strut looks like it's been replaced. On this side, the strut looks original and it's broke, but the upper control arm's been replaced. That frame's in still pretty good shape, which usually, I'm telling you, I see them a lot broken, like right in this area, right in here. So I'll probably hold off on scrapping that frame because we might have somebody interested in buying it. You never know. Still a lot of good parts, so we're just going to set the cab back on this, but I can't do it right now because I got the engine hanging from the Gradall. But we're going to go and put the cab back on this and strap it down. I'll take it back to the other property and just let it sit until we're ready. I did cut the converters out. Probably get a few $100 there, get a little bit of money out of the motor, and This truck right here owes me nothing. When I bought this originally, I started peeling parts off it for another truck after the transmission went bad. I assign a value of every part I take off a truck to, you know, the truck it goes to, so that we get reimbursed for what we remove. So this thing owed me nothing. We pulled so many parts off it. It had different wheels and tires on it, which we changed out, and we put these ones on it. You know, they're still aluminum wheels. They're just not as nice as the ones that were on it. And a lot of other things. I can't remember down the list. The complete interior went to another truck from way back when. There was a lot of modules that went to another truck, and I know without some headlights, you know, just things that were better on this. It had step bars on it. They were really nice chrome step bars. We took them. We took vent visors. There's just a pile of stuff that we've taken off this over the years. So we're just gonna put the cab back on. We'll set it at the other property, and I'll finally get rid of it when we do the last F-150 that I own, because as far as I know, I won't be buying any more. But hope you guys enjoyed, and I don't know if there'll be any more of this, putting the cab back on, all that crap or not. But if not, catch you on the next one. If so, keep watching.